So Marlow just responded to all the cheating accusations, and when I tell you this is absolutely insane, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, she literally just quit. And dude, when I read the response, I was like, okay, this is actually the craziest ending to a drama I've ever seen. But before I break down everything she said and explain what this means for the entire Minecraft PvP community, we are super close to 10,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video, because trust me, you're gonna wanna hear this. Okay, so let me set the scene for you guys. After people started exposing Marlow for corruption, it seemed like Marlow was just gonna ignore it or maybe make a response video later. But dude, she just dropped an announcement in the official MCTiers Discord. And not gonna lie, when I read it, my jaw literally dropped. Because this isn't your classic I'm sorry YouTube apology. She's actually stepping down from everything. Like, she's transferring ownership of MCTiers and leaving all of her staff positions. And honestly, I don't think anyone saw this coming. So let me read you guys what she said, because this is actually really important. She starts off by saying, "Hey everyone, I'm making this post to announce that I will be transferring ownership of MCTiers and leaving all of my related staff positions. Ownership will be transferred to Rai, who, as many of you know, has been a long-term staff member and contributor to the project." And dude, right off the bat, this is huge. Like, Marlow built MCTiers from nothing. She created the website, she made the automated system, she's been running this for years. And now she's just handing it all over to Rai. And not gonna lie, that's actually crazy. Like, this is her entire legacy, her entire reputation, and she's just walking away from it. But then she explained why she's doing this. And dude, this part is really interesting. She says, "Over time, it has become clear that the bitterness towards my position has grown to a point where it now actively detracts from the community itself. I believe that my presence is no longer ideal for the health and stability of the community, and that transferring ownership is circumstantially necessary." So basically, she's saying that the hate towards her has gone so bad that it's actually hurting the community. And by stepping down, she thinks she's doing what's best for everyone. And honestly, I can kind of see a point here. Like, whether you think she is guilty or not, the drama has definitely been tearing the community apart. And maybe her leaving will help things calm down. But here's where things get really interesting. She doesn't admit to anything. Like, at all. She says, "I would like to make something clear though. I reject the claims of corruption, theft, and abuse that have been made against me as an owner. And my decision to transfer ownership does not serve as a concession to being guilty of these claims." So she's basically saying, I'm stepping down, but that doesn't mean I did anything wrong. I'm just leaving because the situation has gone too toxic. And not gonna lie, I think a lot of people are gonna have mixed feelings about this. Because on one hand, if she was innocent, why would she step down? But on the other hand, she's saying she's stepping down for the good of the community, not because she's admitting guilt. And then she drops another bombshell. She says, "Despite leaving, I will not allow my previous reputation as an owner to be tarnished. I intend to release an extensive video covering and conclusively debunking these claims. In fact, it's among my top priorities at the moment. And due to the totality of the claims being made, it will take some time to complete." So let me break this down for y'all. This basically means I'll be eating good this month. Okay, jokes aside, she's basically promising a full response video where she's gonna debunk everything. And honestly, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Like, we want to see her actually address the Crystal Optimizer scandal, the very violent connection, the rapture situation, all of it. And she's saying it's a top priority and it's gonna take some time because there's so much to cover. And not gonna lie, I'm really curious to see what she says in the video, because if she can actually debunk everything with solid proof, that would completely change the situation. But then she gets kind of emotional in her announcement. She says, "On a personal level, this is a deeply disappointing decision for me to make. I've invested an enormous amount of time, effort, and care into building this community throughout the many years that I've been a part of it, and it feels as if my effort has been repeatedly met with hatred and vitriol." Vitriol? Dog, what does that even mean? But to sum it up, she's genuinely upset about this. Like, whether Marlow cheats or not, you can't deny that she did put in a ton of work building MCTiers into what it is today. And to have to step down after all that work probably does feel really bad. And honestly, I can understand why she'd be disappointed. And then she makes it clear that she's not leaving competitive Minecraft entirely. She says, "I still intend to remain part of the competitive scene. Competing has always been one of the core reasons I've been as immersed in the game as I am. And I'm not yet finished fulfilling my ambitions. I believe people will also get to see once more that my success as a player was never a result of any stuff position I held, but rather was the result of my mindset and dedication towards becoming a better player. So basically, she's stepping down as owner, but she's still gonna compete. And she's saying that her success as a player had nothing to do with her being the owner. It was all about her dedication and mindset. And dude, this is gonna be really interesting to watch, because now that she doesn't own MCTiers anymore, she can't control the rules, she's just gonna be a regular player. And if she can still dominate without being the owner, that would actually prove that she's legit. But if her performance drops, that's gonna raise even more questions. And she ends her announcement by saying, "Something that I want to note is that I have been largely offline on Discord. I have signed in out of necessity to make this post, and my absence will remain the case for the foreseeable future, while I focus on what's in front of me. I hope that Rai and all other supporting staff members will have a positive experience with the community moving forward." So she's basically saying she's gonna be offline while she works on her response video and focuses on competing. And honestly, that makes sense. Like, with all the drama going on, it's probably smart for her to step back and take a break from the community for a bit. But then Rai, the person who's taking over MCTiers, made a follow-up statement. And dude, this statement is actually really important because it gives us some context on what's gonna happen next. So Rai starts off by saying, "Before anything else, it's important to recognize the foundation that this project was built on. When Marlow joined the staff team, there was no MCTiers, there was no website, no automated system to add usernames to the list, no dedicated bot infrastructure, and the community itself was less than 1% of the size it is today." So he's basically giving Marlow credit for building MCTiers from the ground up. And honestly, that's fair. Like, whatever you think about the accusations, you can't deny that Marlow did create a lot of the systems that the community uses today. And then Rai says, "The scale and accessibility that the community has now simply would not have existed in the present day had Marlow not pioneered it. Over the years, an immense amount of work went into transforming MCTiers into a centralized competitive platform." So he's acknowledging that Marlow put in a ton of work and that the community wouldn't be where it is today without her. And not gonna lie, I think this is a good move by Rai. Because by acknowledging Marlow's contributions, he's kind of trying to heal the divide in the community and move forward in a positive way. But then Rai talks about his plans for the future. He says, "As I take on this role, my focus is on continuing to improve upon the community. The goal is to ensure that the project continues to function and remains fair and reliable for competitors, with the ability to move forward without being stalled by negative relations." So basically, he wants to keep improving MCTiers and make sure it's fair for everyone. And the keyword here is fair, because a lot of the accusations against Marlow were about unfair treatment, corruption, and double standards. So by saying he wants to make sure things are fair, Rai is kind of addressing those concerns and saying that things are gonna be different under his leadership. And he ends by saying, "I understand that this transition will be met with strong opinions, and I hope that time and action will prove myself capable of the role. I look forward to this opportunity." So he knows that people are gonna have mixed feelings about this transition, but he's hoping that his actions will prove he's the right person for the job. And honestly, I think a lot of people are gonna be cautiously optimistic about this. Like, Rai has been a staff member for a long time and he seems to genuinely care about the community. So maybe under his leadership, things will actually improve. So where does this leave us? Honestly, this is such a crazy ending to this drama. Marlow stepped down from MCTiers, she's transferring ownership to Rai, but she's denying all the accusations and promising a full debunk video. And she's staying in competitive play to prove that her success was never about the owner. And dude, I think the next few weeks are gonna be really interesting, because we're gonna see Marlow's response video where she addresses everything. We're gonna see how she performs as a regular player without owning the server. And we're gonna see how Rai runs MCTiers and whether things actually get better under his leadership. And not gonna lie, I have so many questions. Like, is Marlow's response video actually gonna debunk everything, or is it just gonna be more deflection? Is she gonna show real proof, or is she just gonna make excuses? And what about the rapture situation? Is that gonna be addressed? What about the very violent connection? Like, there's so much that needs to be explained, and honestly, I'm really curious to see what she says. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Marlow stepping down proves she's guilty, or do you think she's just doing what's best for the community? And do you think her response video is actually gonna clear her name, or is it gonna raise more questions like her last video? Like, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think, because this community is so divided right now. And if you guys want to stay updated on this situation and see Marlow's response video when it drops, Make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. Click another video up on screen right now, and goodbye!